All right, well, let's have a look at the Cowboys and the Dolphins from yesterday as well from Queensland Country Bank Stadium. The Cowboys, they suffered their fourth straight loss, going down to the Dolphins 28 points to 26. What were your thoughts on this one, Joey?
I loved it. Once again, really entertaining game. A lot of ball movement, a lot of offloads, unstructured play. Cowboys got to an early lead. I thought, well, here we go. They're going to put 30 on them. It's going to be the Cowboys of old, but then once again, the Wayne Bennett teams, they hang in, and when they get momentum, they just go bang.
What about the teams that have got to an early lead in this round? Every team that has got to an early lead has been beating, bar the Melbourne Storm, who very well could have been beaten by the Titans. So there's something about not just starting well, but sustaining your start. You know, the game goes for 80 minutes, and it's a long game. And the Dolphins have done wonderfully well. Like the injuries that they've got in their second year into the competition, they've got a fair DNA about them, about some toughness and grittiness and willingness just to work hard for one another. They're going along nicely, sitting in the top four.
Are you ready to ride off the Cowboys?
No.
Not write them off.
This was a great setup.
They've done this plenty of times, got to leads and had just poor defence, weak defence. They've given up a lot of points this year. I thought watching Nicarima and Scott Drinkwater, they're so silky, both of them. Just the way they get across the field and slide into space, and they both got a really beautiful soft pass, and they were awesome to watch.
I heard
Look at this.
This is brilliant from Nicarima. I heard him talking after the game in an interview that he did, and he spoke about a conversation that Wayne Bennett had with him in the pre-season. And Wayne spoke about he needs 17 players physically willing to defend. He needs to have a good defensive team. So it really challenged Jaden Nicarima and, Cody Nicarima. And for him to speak about that in an interview, it's obviously consciously on his mind, and therefore he can outlay this stuff because this is so natural for him.
Yeah.
How frustrating, though, for the Cowboys. It's been a couple of weeks in a row. Of last week, they had... Was it last week against the Penrith Panthers? It was a close one to finish as well. It's errors, defence. It must be so frustrating for the team and the coach as well.
We only have to listen to the coach in the press conference to hear how frustrating it is. He was really disappointed with that. And the way that they started really fast, aggressive, strong. They looked like they were on a different level to the Gold Coast, and with the talent in their team on paper, to be fair, that they probably are, but unfortunately you've got to sustain it for a long period of time, and that's been their challenge for a while now.
One thing I noticed was their bench. They had four sort of big forwards on the bench, and
Lukey played in the middle for a bit.
And I looked at the Dolphins, and the difference ended up being speed. Maybe going through a bit of a transition. Used to be a lot of benches, four big forwards just rolling through the middle. Well, now, I think there was a few teams on the weekend that had littler people on the bench, and it sort of works. Having littler faster people come on at the right time.
What about the try late to Avarillo? I'm sitting at home and I'm thinking the bunker is going to take this off him. They kept looking at it in super slow motion. Oh, here was the field goal.
I did notice this, actually, and it didn't get brought up or made aware of, but this was the last play of the game. Drinkwater goes for a 2-point field goal and has his leg clipped. Yeah. Now, if you think back to round 6, when Josh Aloiai did the same thing against the Warriors and Sean Johnson hit the ground and made a bit of a deal about it, it was actually brought back to a penalty. The Cowboys could have actually had a penalty there to level the game up and send it into goal.
It's happening a lot, isn't it? A lot of players hitting the feet. Like, you can tell they're obviously not going in with malice, but...
Well, it's desperation to save the game.
Just not getting their positioning right. You look at... Well, the best in the game at the moment is Kickow, and you watch his lines very different to most others who are charging down kicks.
Well, he's outside the foot.
He comes outside the foot. Well, most of them are coming from,
straight
they're running out the foot.
Yeah.
He comes from outside, but... you're right. It's one of the things we're looking at the game, and you look at Munster throwing his hands up, then you're looking at Scott Drinkwater not throwing his hands up. So it's about...
Playing to the...
Well, but then,
Well, the players know the rules. Obviously Scott Drinkwater didn't really understand what was going on there. He was more worried about the kick, which is good on him
for not
exactly.
It's good on him. But as soon as you change an interpretation or you have a rule the game will change somewhere else. So it's why we're talking about it now, because you've got two games where the game is on the line, they go for a field goal, they miss. One is a penalty, one is just full time.